on Dublin's easy place to relax.
Sunshine 106.8. Sunshine 106.8.
As a consequence,
incredible how it's changed.
It's incredible when you think that recently there was a case in the paper where a policeman got spat at with a query HIV and drove 23 miles to his station with a spittle on his eye so that he could claim compensation. And I think he could pay it out 100,000. I had to travel the world for 3 years, getting tested 3 times a year, like is here. Never once did the hospital come back and say to me, how are you, or what was the consequence of your illness? It's just so different in this day and age.
Of course, and you see,
totally
of course,
thankless,
we see renowned sports stars now from all over, who have all come out and said, because I suppose nowadays with the treatment and everything, it's just changed so much.
Well, let's put it this way. Everybody's excited now about COVID. COVID's a bloody walk in the park compared to what HIV was.
Yeah.
HIV at the time, you remember those ads with the Grim Reaper? Everybody's going to get this.
The big the big black slab of stone.
You're not allowed to kiss anybody. You remember Magic Johnson, all that whole period?
Yeah.
And then Cary Grant. It wasn't until a few years later even that there was a drug for it. But they really shamelessly isolated doctors, and I wasn't the only one, and just, sort of forgot about them. And anyway, I only mention this because it's part of my story. I went to New Zealand. Next up, Antarctica. It was Dunedin, Invercargill. And
sure, where else would you be going?
Well, it's far away from everything. And unfortunately, I suppose in that period as well, my girlfriend, who we were going to get engaged, and I separated, but I wouldn't blame her for that. It was just part of the story.
Fear, I suppose, of those days. Now we're going to come back after the break, Patrick. We're going to talk about Michael Jackson and the Berlin Wall and Bowie. But tell us, what have you picked for us for your first choice of music this evening?
Oh, well, thank you for that. I was thinking, because of the fact that we just mentioned the needlestick, Needle and the Damage Done. Now, that's the name of the book as well. And we know, of course, it's Neil Young's song. He wrote it in 1972 about his friend Danny Whitter, who was a member of Crazy Horse, who died of heroin overdose that year as well. But the reason that we called it Needle and the Damage Done, believe it or not, wasn't because of the needle stick injury. One of the awards that I got was that I came up with a solution on a global protocol that's used around the world now, how to reverse what we call vascular occlusion. So if somebody is injecting dermal fillers into somebody's face and they inject it accidentally into an artery, then it's the same as having a heart attack. That part of the face just dies off because there isn't collateral circulation. So the fact that you mentioned Michael Jackson is interesting. Michael flew from the United States to me in about 2005, 2006 to get filler taken out of his face, and nobody had used it before. And then all these vascular occlusions started happening, and I had gained quite a lot of experience in how to reverse them. I suppose from a medical point of view, that's why it's called the Needle and the Damage Done.
A taste of our